What up, everybody? Welcome back to another movie review. Today we're talking the second of 3 Lord of the Rings movies. The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, how most people refer to it as The Two Towers. And this movie I like quite a bit more because we get just a little bit more into the action, a little bit more into the characters, and we get that big battle of Helm's Deep at the end of this movie. Spoilers for a movie that's over 20 years old, but if you guys have been warned, and we're talking about the extended edition today. It is quite a long movie, but I think the extended editions of these movies are worth it because you just get that much more details, that much more backstory, things that, like, some things cut out, you know, that you wouldn't expect to be cut out, and other things that you're like, oh wow, I like this part, you know. And I haven't necessarily watched the regular cuts in a while, so I don't know how much is not there, but I know it's like a 3-hour movie normally, and it's damn near 4 hours after the extended cut, so we're talking like 45 extra minutes of shit, you know. So I have no idea how much more that adds and where it adds, but I know for sure I like this movie quite a bit. I love that we pick up right where the last one left off, and we get to see that Gandalf doesn't die to that Balrog. He actually defeats that Balrog, and he comes back not as Gandalf the Grey, but as Gandalf the White. And he is a horse boy now, and he's got his boys, and he's got Legolas, he's got Aragorn, Viggo Mortensen. Really like this one, but really what I like about this entire movie comes down to like the third act of this movie and the Battle of Helm's Deep. Obviously most of the movie spent with Samwise Gamgee, Frodo, and Andy Serkis's Gollum, which Gollum didn't had a role, but not a big one in the first movie. Has a much bigger role in this second movie, and just seeing him like kind of around and seeing the difference between Sméagol, which is like the Hobbit version of him that was before he became Gollum the Demon, and seeing how the ring really messed him up and how it's messing up Frodo, and how the heart and soul of this movie, Samwise Gamgee, and really my favorite character, Samwise Gamgee, other than Gandalf, because, you know, I love me some Ian McKellen. But Samwise is just such a great character. And then, you know, you get this, like, king that wasn't doing well, and he was, like, the super old version of himself because he was getting possessed by a bad guy that was, like, supposed to be his right-hand man. Gandalf saves him, and then sends his people to Helm's Deep to defend the castle, and then all these orcs and crazy things come fighting, and they have to defend the castle, defend the people. And it's wild. Like we haven't seen battles like this with this many people and this much carnage going on in anything, really. And it holds up pretty damn well for a movie that came out 2002, right? So they filmed these, I believe, 97 to 99, and then they came out 2001, 2002, 2003, which is a pretty damn smart way to do it, but also risky, because what if that first movie was a bust, and then you got 2 more movies that are long that aren't going to be that good, right? Like, and maybe not profitable, so then you go really in the hole? Like, they had to have greenlit and thrown out like $300 million to film 3 movies, and not, you know, hey, we're not going to put this out for 5 years, so you're not going to get your profit back for years. Luckily, I think those movies did pretty damn well, but whew, like, what a risk, really. Like, if you're really thinking about it, like, what an absolute risk. But yeah, like I was saying, the explosions, like, I don't know if this is miniature or just visual effects, but either way, it looks really good for 2002. We're talking 22 years old. This shit was awesome. Like, I don't know if I've really ever experienced the Helm's Deep the way I should have. You know what I mean? Because I've obviously seen these movies when I was a kid, but watching them, you know, with older eyes and with a more conscious brain and a developed frontal lobe, you know, like, you get attached to certain characters more. And now that I'm more of a movie guy, I know that, like, just, hey, even if you're not enjoying it, just like keep going. You'll find something that you enjoy along some point. You don't just stop watching it. You know, you gotta get through it, especially if you know if there's something in there that you might like. In this movie, even if you're not into the first 3/4 of it, I'm telling you, just watch this movie just for the Battle of Helm's Deep. And if you don't like that, you know, sorry, sucks for you. But I really thought the Battle of Helm's Deep was fucking awesome. I love the part where Aragorn and Gimli have to sneak around back, and Gimli goes, "You're gonna have to throw me. I'm not gonna be able to make that jump." But don't tell the elf. And he goes, not a word. Throws Gimli, jumps himself, and then the two of them defend the front door all by themselves. Just bang, 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 bang. And you're like, hey, Gimli! And, you know, we expect Aragorn to do it, but he's doing it with a dwarf, Gimli, and Gimli holds his own. Like, Gimli's a badass. I fucking love Gimli. But I love how they seemingly about to get overrun. The kamikaze suicide bombed himself, blew up the hole in the wall, so now there's people coming in. They're defending the front door. They're trying to come up and over the walls. They gotta retreat, and right as they're about to retreat, Gandalf comes in with a whole nother army with Carl Urban, friggin' Benny the Butcher from Now the Boys nowadays. He was also in Thor Ragnarok as Scourge, but now, you know, 2002, way back when, long hair, he's on horseback and he's with Gandalf. Yeah, let's go, like, horse boys. I love it. But this movie, the whole time I was like, why is it called The Two Towers? You know, like, I was just so confused why it was called The Two Towers the whole time. And then, of course, finally, I figured it out. I was like, oh, that's right. Because Sauron is in, it's Sauron and Saruman? But I think it sounds like one guy, but I believe it's two different guys, and that kept fucking me up because I was like, man, I'm dyslexic, I'm gonna fuck up those names all the time. But I believe, if I have it correctly, please correct me in the comment section down below if I'm wrong, but I believe Saruman, which was Christopher Lee's the white guy, was in a tower that got attacked by Merry Pippin in the Ents. And the Ents showed how strong they were and took back that place, and badass. I love that scene. I love Treebeard. I love the trees, you know, and how they like start, oh, he burned my forest. Oh, Ents, come, we're fucking this guy up. You know, like, whatever they say. That's how I heard it. Like I was saying, the Ents in this tall tower here. There's this tower, with Merry and Pippin on top of the Ents there, and so that's one tower, and then the second tower, I believe, is in Mordor with the Eye of Sauron. It's not there's Saruman and Sauron, which is the guy with the eye, I think. Comment below if I'm wrong. But those are the two towers, and then this all leads into now the epic conclusion of the third one, Return of the King, which I believe is Aragorn, and yeah, you know, like, that shit's epic in its own ways. And you know, I vaguely remember the guy coming back in his giant golden suit or something like that, or that might have even been in the first movie, and that was like a flashback to the 7 rings or whatever, and the rings given to man, and there's a ring here and a ring, and they explain it in the extended version a little bit more, but they just jump you into the story with just a ton of dialogue, and you're like, whoa, I don't know if I retained any of this. But I think that's just where you sit with these movies. You're either like prepared for the dialogue dump and ready to listen right off the bat, and you get it. But to be perfectly honest, I think this is the third time I'm attempting to watch the Lord of the Rings series, which I think is very smart of me, because first time you're trying to figure out how it ends, the second time you're trying to figure out what you missed, and the third time you're just taking it all in, and you're vaguely remembering stuff and like that kind of thing, where you're like, ah, I remember this, I remember that, oh, I must have missed this, you know, like you're picking up those details. That's what I was kind of going through this time, and I was just able to enjoy it because I knew what to expect. Like, I don't always enjoy a movie when I'm trying to figure out how it ends, and then the story I was building up in my head was different than the story that I was given. So sometimes I disappoint myself in that aspect of things, but I try not to do that, especially for movies that I know are classics. Like, there's people that absolutely will die for the Lord of the Rings movies. I'm not one of them, but I can appreciate them and I enjoy them. I gave the first one 3.5 stars, and I gave this movie, The Two Towers, also 3.5 stars. 7 out of 10. I like them both equally for different reasons. The first movie, I like the fellowship. Second movie, I really just like that final third act battle and just the climax of it all. It just felt good. But comment below. I would love to know what you guys think of Lord of the Rings, and if you guys really, really want me to post the third video of Return of the Kings, get like 10, 15 likes on this, and I'll know that you guys want it, and I'll post that video ASAP. But also, I just watched Dev Patel's Monkey Man over the weekend. There's a review out on the channel for that. I've been watching X-Men 97 every week and doing video breakdowns of episodes for that. So check out those things. Comically Boston's on Mondays with my news channel, where I talk news of the last week and things that I'm interested in, things I've been watching, castings, you know, stuff like that. Marvel news, Star Wars news, casting news around Hollywood, stuff like that. So go check out Comically Boston for me. Subscribe if you're new. Hit that like button. Hit that bell if you don't want to miss future videos. I'm Big Cam. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.